This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and I have Seth Warden with me today. And, you know, I have to tell you, Seth, I talk to a lot of musicians,
Yes, I
but
know.
when I play your music, there's something really unique about it. It's, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I have to play it a second time because it's like I really liked it, but now I want to know what I liked about it.
Oh, that's
So
what a compliment. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about, how long you've been doing this and why you're in such a business that is so sometimes difficult to get ahead in.
Extremely difficult. And that's a hurdle I think that a lot of musicians need to get through, especially in their mind. I'm answering the second part of your question first.
Sure.
Um, you've really got to come to terms with it. It's just what you love to do. It's your passion. You're an artist, whether you're painting or music. Um, and that's what you do, and that's what makes you happy. You just have to continue. You're going to get told a million times no, and people won't listen to it a second time. So that is the best compliment that you can give me. A third time, whew, forget it. But two times is just an honor. So thank you for saying that.
Well,
Um, I've
and
been doing this for a few decades. Let's put it that way.
and I don't say it just to say it because, sometimes I'll listen to it and I'll go, I like this, but I'm not sure I want to listen to it right now. And then I come
Hmm.
back to it. And that's something that a lot of people don't do. If
Yeah.
they hear the beginning of something, a lot of times it's like, if it doesn't click, they'll go on to something else. And I have learned that, um, I miss out on too much that is good out there. And so, go back, listen to it again.
Yeah.
Um, and you're not going to love everything
No,
you put
definitely.
together, but there's a rhythm to it that you go back and you go, okay, I'm going to listen to this again and again. Tell me about the group you have put together.
Yeah, we call ourselves Warden and Company. It allows for various members to kind of join in and jump out and join in. And my daughter recently, which has been a beautiful thing. Um, Brian Melick is a percussionist, and I think everyone in the Capital District, New York State, knows him. But world class and just a brilliant musician and a great friend, and that's above all. And violinist Doug Moody, who is another world-class musician, classically opera trained vocalist, and um, I've played with other really talented musicians, and it's similar to sports. You can have great players, but you've got to there's the cogs need to mesh the right way, and the personalities, and it works. And it's taken me a while to find these guys, but I'm really glad that I have.
Well, I know Brian obviously very well,
Yeah.
and he's a character, as we all will agree to. Um, but when I first met him and he talked about being a drummer, okay, um, that's the picture I got, almost a
Yeah.
picture of like a Ringo Starr playing the drums, but he's so much more
So much more.
because so many
Yeah.
different instruments that he plays. And he got me to understand what percussion really was all about. It's not just being a drummer. And so I listen for his sounds when
Yes.
I listen to your music because it's like, ah, that's Brian playing in the background.
He's impacted me so much that when I write music, I write specifically thinking about how and what he would play on these songs. And I started as a percussionist before I played guitar and was a songwriter. So I love rhythm and I love a good groove. And so I just love writing with the idea that Brian Melick is going to sit down and take it to the next step. And he
Sure.
does. Yeah, it's great.
So we've been going through a very strange time the last couple months.
Mm,
And I know it's got to be very, very difficult up in the capital area where music just never dies.
right.
You guys are always out performing or getting together and working. So how's it been for you, and especially in New York?
Yeah, it was a complete shutdown, and it was a hard thing at first. There was a month that I wasn't inspired to even pick up my guitar or to write because I wasn't even sure what to write about. Um, and we were all kind of got stuck in a little bit of a rut, and I saw so many fellow musicians just starting to just put music out and just put it out. And I'm like, gosh, if they're doing it, then, I got to find my groove. And started writing a couple songs and recording them on my iPhone and on a 1990s Sony looping program. And I started combining these sounds very DIY and started falling in love with the process again. And now it's just the music's flowing, and I guess just triumph over the adversity that we're faced with, and just rising up to meet myself, and my passion, and I can't stop it. So
Well, and you mentioned there for a while you weren't writing,
yeah,
or um, you didn't have that, you know, idea in your head. You were probably stuck in the fact that, hey, we're locked down and this is all new to us and
this is
what's going to
confusing.
happen tomorrow?
Yeah, uncertainty, and you can only write so much about that.
Right.
We can all relate to that. So, not trying to capitalize on an emotion that we're all going through. So I wanted to try to flip that and start sharing some hope, especially for my children. That was important for me, for my wife, and my fellow musicians, my colleagues, just to say, I'm going to start doing this, and I'm going to start sending you songs, and I'm going to try to inspire you and send me music back. And that's how we've been doing it. It's really been digital. We're using the simplest methods right now to record. And I'm not kidding. I'm using my iPhone, and I had a song played on a local radio station and they don't know it, but I recorded it on my iPhone. Like,
Well,
I don't
and
know. That's exciting to me.
and the interesting part is, when all this started happening back in March, um, I called up a couple of my musician friends and I said, okay, we're going to go to Zoom
Yeah,
and put it on YouTube. And we'll also have the audio, and we can do it either way. And you can perform if you want to perform. You don't have to. We can just talk. And some of them said, Zoom, to YouTube? Like, no, that doesn't work. And I said, okay, we can do Facebook Live. And a
mhm,
number of them, they knew about these platforms, but they weren't using them because they
correct.
didn't need to.
They didn't need to, nor
And,
did I.
and we're seeing it works.
It does work. And I wanted to be real specific on when we went live, just to keep the professionalism involved. And I didn't want to go live with my slippers on and my PJs. I still wanted to keep that element of professionalism just for my sake. And we did a live performance through Facebook on one of the venues locally that we perform at. And they've got over 20,000 followers.
Yeah.
That Facebook Live performance had more eyes on it than any live performance we have done in the Capital District. And that was like, what if we were able to go live on other channels, on other Facebook pages that had even more viewers? Like it opened up a whole new business.
Absolutely.
The monetary aspect still needed to get figured out, you know,
Right.
as far as being a professional is concerned, but getting to people who were at home, and Cafe Lena was, kind of the first step that we took with that. And, working with your brother, who's just a musical genius, it was just fantastic. And that really launched us to say, you know what, there's other ways of doing this and reaching people, and spreading joy through music. That's it.
Mhm.
That's the goal.
Well, we just did something here in Northeast Ohio this past weekend, and I sort of got the hint from Cafe Lena, so I have to give them kudos.
Absolutely.
I heard that they were doing these um, concerts on a flatbed truck. They were
Yes, they
right
went
away
through
from the
town.
city.
Yeah.
So I reached out to my musicians here in Ohio and I said, okay, I don't have any connections for a flatbed truck, but what if we did some sort of like a drive in concert? And one of them said, hey, I have an idea. And he connected with a group. they're redoing their whole city and revitalizing things.
Great.
And we did it on Friday night. And I'll tell you, it was so rewarding to me because people who wanted to get out,
Hmm.
they could sit in their car and listen to the music. They could put a lawn chair in front of their car and listen to the music. We were safe. People were wearing their face masks, but people were up and dancing in front of their cars because it's the first time they're really out and enjoying things.
Yeah,
So, you know, if it weren't
that's
for my
great.
yeah, and if it
Good
weren't for
job.
my connection with all of you in the Capital District, I probably wouldn't have even come up with this idea. And I said to them, "We gotta keep doing this, and
Hmm.
we gotta do it even after the pandemic is over
Absolutely.
because you get a whole new audience."
Yeah, that's it. And we get stuck in our ways, and we didn't know about these platforms. We were forced to adjust. We were forced to adapt in a pretty awful way, but we still did it. And then we find that joy in it still. And you know, I guess karma, serendipity, whatever you want to say, it all comes back around. And if you stay true to what you love and what you do, you're going to find the reward in it. And we
Absolutely.
have.
So you said you've brought your daughter into your group a little bit. So tell us about that. How did that all get started?
Well, since I've been recording at home, and my wife is an essential worker, unfortunately, so she's going to work every day, and I've been home with the three kids. They've seen my process, and they're watching me sing into my iPhone and play my guitar. And a new song, I just said, I started telling kind of my story of my life a little bit, which I've never really done, and I'm singing about my children and sometimes even rapping about them. And I just got the idea. I'm like, you guys should sing on the chorus with me. So I've got my daughters and my son on the chorus, and then my daughter sang the national anthem at one of our performances last weekend. So that was
Oh,
really
how
sweet.
wonderful is
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Wow.
it was great. She got a bigger applause than we did, I think. It was terrific, and she
Well,
deserved it too. So
okay. And it's wonderful when we can bring our families into the mix.
yeah,
Because you know, a lot of our kids don't know what we do for a living, or they think they know what we
I think
do.
I know. Yeah,
Um, my son, this is tip really, he owns the radio station. He's not involved in it anymore. But every once in a while he'll come to me and he'll say, "How many shows are you doing? Wait a minute. Like, where did you get that one from?" And I'll say, "Well, why don't you just sit down and see what mom does, you know?"
exactly.
Um, but bringing them all full circle is awfully nice.
It is. It is. It's very special, and not something that I was necessarily expecting to do at this stage. But when we did it, it was just I couldn't wait to share it with people, and just I'm not crying, you're crying kind of moment, because when they sing the choruses, it's beautiful. So
Right.
yeah.
So you have something new coming out. Tell us about that.
We've been releasing, kind of trying the singles route rather than doing an album these days. It seems that putting out a song at a time seems to be the better route. So we just released a new song called "I Know You Know," and put it out on Spotify and Apple Music, so it's available in the market. And we've been receiving some, knock on wood, some really great response and some radio play from it, which is unheard of,
Yeah.
in today's world, as an independent artist and who's recording at their house by, using the techniques that we are. It's pretty awesome. So that's our newest single. You can just check it out on YouTube as well,
Okay.
Warden and Co. Um,
I will.
I share it everywhere. I just, again, just to put it out and share my passion with those who will listen.
Well, and plenty are, as we know.
Yeah, thanks.
So are you now able to start booking some shows at all?
We've begun. Yeah, there are certain restaurants that have stages, and they're separated from the audience or the crowd or the diners, depending on where you are, and some outdoor venues where it's a little safer to be away from the folks. And everyone so far, we've done a couple performances, and everyone is quite respectful. Um, we're all dealing with it. It's not easy, but we played July 3rd and had a really great response. It was the first time all three of us have been back together, um, and it felt great. And it was like, oh yeah, this is what we love to do. Where have we been, guys? So
Well, it's funny because this morning I just heard here in Ohio that they've put out a request that there should be no singing in churches.
heard that one.
And I started thinking about, well, we did this great concert the other night, but I will say they were probably a good 12 feet away from the audience.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it. That's all. If
Right.
you're doing that, you're separating. Um, humming at church might work, I guess, but
Well,
just a joke about it. But it's crazy. It really is. And I don't know what normal's going to be. I'm a teacher as well, so we're all trying to figure that out for the fall. But it's July, it's summer, and I'm just happy to
just trying to enjoy the
just
time.
enjoy right now, because we're all thinking, every time we stop for a minute, I'm just trying to focus on right now, and here's summer, let's enjoy it.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that your wife is an essential worker.
Yeah,
So she's out and about all the time and she's
every
in the
day.
middle of it all.
Yeah, she is. And that was tough, especially when school was still happening.
Yeah.
And I still needed to do my job and teach my children. You know, it was quite a load at first. And we had to figure out our swing of things. Normally, you leave your house in the morning and you come home after a hard day's work to relax at your home,
Right.
not having to, we're not used to working and being so structured at our home, because this is where we unwind. So that was a kind of a shift in the paradigm, but we figured it out.
Well, and I think most of us have figured it out. We may not like what we figured out,
Right.
but you know what? Um, there's a lot of good that has come from it.
There's a silver lining. That's it.
And I laugh about it a little bit that I had this whole surprise set up for my brother. He had no idea, neither did his wife. We were just going to show up on his birthday in May and
Mm,
say surprise.
yeah.
And surprise to us, we couldn't even leave Ohio, let alone come to see him. Um, and we figured out a way around it.
Yep.
I made sure that he got a few birthday gifts that would make him at least smile. And we'll do it as soon as we can when
Yep.
the world gets back to a little safer pace.
Let's hope 2021 is a little more fun.
That I would hope so.
I
So
hope.
again, tell everybody where they can find your music so they can listen to you like I do.
Sure, sure. Our YouTube channel is where we release most of our recorded material, which is just Warden and Co. Our Facebook channel, and which I use the most. I just feel that Facebook and Instagram reaches more people than our website ever has. So I just really stick to the social media aspects of Facebook and Instagram. Um, and it's just more personal, I feel.
Sure.
Right now it works. So those are the platforms that you'll find us at, and hopefully on a radio station near you.
Well, and I always suggest, when you hear something that you like, share it.
Yeah,
Other people know about it.
for sure.
Um, but also know that the only way that you're going to be able to continue to make more music is if we support you. And that means buying your music, coming to a concert wherever you are. Um,
Absolutely.
and, we're all struggling, but we got to remember that when we want entertainment, if we don't support you guys, guess what? There's not going to be any entertainment for the rest of us.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I want to thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank
Again,
you too
I
for
keep,
all you're doing for so
oh,
many musicians, and not just in the Capital District in Ohio where you are. It's nice to hear those stories that it's happening elsewhere, and that we can be a little source of inspiration here for other
no,
places. So that's
you
great.
know, Cafe Lena is where the music never dies. So we got to take that all around the world with
You
us.
know it for sure.
Absolutely. Well, you have a great day. Say hi to Brian for me, please.
I will.
Um, and I told him he should contact me and we should get him on. Maybe he can play his Lego drums. That would be
I'll
so
push
fun.
him to do that.
All right.
Incredible.
Have a great day and
Thanks,
thanks
Karen.
again. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.